Why the sad face to start? Like, we've lost, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay, I'm Caitlin, and I'm going to be reading the 1AC. Contention 1. California faces hard economic times. Subpoint 8. California's budget deficit is racking up billions of dollars. The New York Times updated on November 28, 2012. State officials predicted yet another shortfall of $19 billion in the budget for the next fiscal year. But in December, the incoming governor, Jerry Brown, pronounced that changes in federal tax law could drive up the gap to $28 billion over the next 18 months unless something was done. He said that the state faced deficits of $20 billion for at least the next 5 years. Huge deficits lead to huge cuts. Subpoint B. Millions of dollars cut from law enforcement. State of California Department of Justice Office of Attorney General, Tuesday, June 28, 2011. Law enforcement leaders from across the state of California today criticized the deep cuts to the Department of Justice's law enforcement budget that specifically targeted anti-gang and anti-drug problems. The general fund reduction proposal would reduce by $71 million the budget of the Division of Law Enforcement. This could lead to the loss of several hundred special agents and other personnel, the dissolution of 55 statewide task forces, many of which coordinate responses to transitional gang and drug crime, and the loss of investigators on the state's new mortgage fraud strike force as a result of 2 entire law enforcement bureaus could be shut down, the Bureau of Investigations and Intelligence and the Bureau of Narcotic Enforcement. Huge cuts lead to less police. Subpoint C. More than 1,000 police officers eliminated. Emily Wick graduated with honors from the Stable Center for Investigative Reporting at Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism, Pablo.org, June 23, 2009. The agencies could be forced to shelve thousands of DNA samples, bullet casings, and other pieces of evidence used to identify violent crime. There are already more than 350,000 untested DNA samples nationwide, according to federal government statistics. Ultimately, some police chiefs said they might have to choose, pay to process evidence or lose more cops on the street. More than 1,000 police officers were eliminated statewide in the past year. Police officers' layoffs lead to increased crime. Subpoint D. Budget cuts have a direct impact on violent crime. Steve Yoder, a writer who specializes in small business, criminal justice, and immigration, Fiscal Times, August 7, 2012. With the economic slowdown pushing municipal budgets to the brink, police layoffs and rising crime levels have been a common story in the hardest-hit American cities. Survey results from more than 700 police departments released in April showed that 21% had layoffs in the past 2 years. Another 56% shrank as a result of an employee attrition. In places like Camden, New Jersey, and Oakland, California, the budget cuts are having a direct impact on violent crime, which is significantly higher, says Chuck Wexler, Director of Police Executive Research Forum, the group that did the study. Contention 2. We should give life without parole instead of the death penalty for the greater good. Subpoint 8. Life without parole is the best alternative. The American Civil Liberties Union, in a section on its website, and an article titled The Truth About Life Without Parole, August 19, 2008. The death penalty costs more, delivers less, and puts innocents' lives at risk. Life without parole provides swift, severe, and certain punishment, provides justice to survivors of murder victims, and allows more resources to be invested into solving other murders and preventing violence. Sentencing people to die in prisons is the sensible alternative for public safety and murder victims' families. Subpoint B. Life without parole is more cost-effective. Charles H. Morris, J.D. Senior Judge of the 5th District Court of Appeal in Florida, published the following in an opinion piece for the Gainesville Sun on April 18, 2012. Death by execution is excessively expensive. Most people who support the death penalty believe it is more cost-effective than life in prison. Perhaps at one time, when executions were swift and sure, this may have been the case. It is not now. Most people knowledgeable about the subject will agree that the delay now built into the system, more trial preparation, much longer time to get to trial, much longer jury selections and trials, much more complicated and far more frequent appeals and continuous motions have increased the cost of capital punishment so that it is now many times the cost of keeping a prisoner in prison for life. Subpoint C. The money saved could be used for better criminal justice. Sue Vaughn, Director of Amnesty International Campaign Against the Death Penalty, USA Today, December 7, 2007. Most Americans are under the illusion that the death penalty is less costly than keeping someone in prison for life, but it's not a good use of resources. The money saved could be used for better criminal justice. Subpoint D. Money saved would be spent on law enforcement and schools. Gil Garcetti, District Attorney for Los Angeles County from 1992 to 2000. California's Voter Guide Prop 34 for the November 6th election, 2012. It frees up millions of wasted tax dollars to help our kids' schools and catch more murderers and rapists without raising taxes. Those wasted tax dollars would be spent better on law enforcement in our schools. I now stand open for cross-examination.
All right. Now, Caitlin, you do state that it is a more cost-efficient program, yes?
Yes.
To not do the death penalty. Would you actually know how much money is saved?
No.
No. Okay, and also, do you know how many people are actually being sentenced to the death penalty or have actually been followed through on being executed?
No.
So it could be...
13 have been executed in the state of California. I know that.
Do you know what the time frame on that is?
No.
So it could be since the start of America, 13 people. About, okay.
I suppose.
Okay. And then, now this money saved could be used on law enforcement in schools, right? Yeah, we don't know how much money there is.
No.
And then that would also be shared between both of these?
No. We're just focusing on law enforcement off schools. That was just part of what she said. I couldn't cut it out.
Okay. So, do you think there's going to be a significant amount of money enough
Yes, I do.
to fulfill this? Okay, that's it.